I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, November 18th. May we stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okie dokie. I'd like to ask for a motion for the consent agenda of the library board regular meeting minutes from October 21st and also the October library expenditures.
There's an amendment to the minutes.
There is an amendment to the minutes.
Yeah.
And what is that amendment?
The amendment is, Katie, help me out here.
Oh, is it for me? I didn't know if you had something different, Steve. Is it mine?
Yeah, it's yours.
Okay, so for some reason when they got published, the musical garden notes were deleted, so I would like those added back.
Okay.
And they essentially explained that the roots and branches were going to make an MOU with the library, and the roots and branches were going to make sure that they were maintaining it, that the library was not maintaining this musical garden. And then the second thing I wanted fixed was that when we adjourned into the closed session, the notes say that I recused, and instead I had actually approved us going into that closed session, so I want that fixed too.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the board minutes with the two changes that were just stated, and also the library expenditures for October 25.
I'll motion.
Joseph.
Second.
Brett. I think we're gonna have a lot of the duel today. We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
No.
Okay, if not, we will move on. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No. Motion carries.
That was an aye.
That was an aye. Financial reports, October.
Yeah,
Joe.
there was $39-ish of interest between the money market and the elite checking accounts, and then $3,500 donation from the Kiwanis. And that was it.
Okay, and 13 cents interest.
Yep.
Gotta mention that, that won't even buy you a fifth of a stamp almost. Any questions for, on the financial reports?
No.
Nope. If not, let's see, what's next? Fund balance, well, no, there's really nothing in the, on the fund balance. All right, library board directors report.
Well, we started our interviews for deputy directors, and I am confident that we will have a good candidate, just based on today's interviews. We will be interviewing tomorrow and Thursday, and then we may have a second round of interviews to tidy up, because there's, well, we'll see what happens. But I'm sure we'll have a good choice based on today's.
And you had a good application turnout?
Yeah, we had some really good qualified people.
Numbers? How many?
6.
Six, okay, that's good.
5 that have the master's degree, 1 that's working on the master's degree.
Okay, good.
All really good
Okay.
choices.
Now it's the hard part, picking the one.
Yeah. I am meeting with somebody from Biblioteca tomorrow on self-checks. I believe that's tomorrow anyway. And then I have another meeting with another vendor early in December. So while I'd like to put a pin in this one and say we've got an idea where we're going to go, I want to hear what they have to say in December and see what the numbers come up as. I did hear good reports from other libraries that use this other vendor. So I can say I did get a report from a lot of people in the library world. I requested to put it on WisPub Lib, our library whatever we call it, discussion list or whatever, discussion group. And I got a lot of feedback, and somebody sent me the graph of all the vendors that they talked to with all the pricing and things that they considered through the process. So there came out to be about, well, there's a number of other companies to look at. One of them does a program where they use an iPad, and you do a self-check with an iPad. And I have used an iPad for a catalog before, and the text is very small, so I don't think that would work very well for us as a self-check station. That was a contender as far as the functionality and how it worked. And then I had to look at all the different ins and outs of what the bells and whistles that came with everything. And I said, we don't need bells and whistles, we just need a standard self-check. And so the companies that are focused on that are coming out on top. So looks pretty good. From what I heard, I'll have to see what the numbers are in December, of course. Then we'll have two options to consider Biblioteca and this other one, unless we want to consider Envisionware yet.
Well, I would think it would be you doing the consideration with your staff and then just coming to us with a
Yeah,
proposal and explaining why you picked this one over this one.
yeah. But there will be a demo, actually, if anybody wants to come and try out the self-checks. The demo is set up for, well, I believe it's the 9th, but it doesn't seem to show up on my calendar, so that's fun.
Well, if anybody wants to, they can contact you.
If you want to see it, that other company will be here early in December.
Okay.
Then the next thing on my list of things to talk about is the natural disaster and emergency closing policy. That was the policy of the month. I didn't get a whole lot of chance to look at it, but if there's items in there that you feel we need to talk about, we can bring it back and discuss it at the next meeting and revise our policy for that.
So is that online for us?
I'll send it out, send out the text or the email.
Send
message
out
to
the
everybody.
document, okay. Okay. Can you give us an update on the building?
Yep, the building is, well, the flooring is all done except for the dance floor downstairs. Not our business really, that's the recreation department's business. The other thing that the recreation department was doing is they're doing a mural down in their area, and then on the steps going down, so it doesn't affect the library at all, but it's,
I saw that posted, yeah.
so it's not our business. He did ask me what I thought of it, and I said, do what you want in your space. And so
That's not necessarily the best answer, because it
Well,
technically is our.
it's still our space. We always paint over it if something changes. So that's got to be done. Then we have molding or around the outside of the library that needs to be taken care of yet. There's little things like electrical. Actually, I have a list. Now that you bring it up, I guess. They had to reinstall a toilet downstairs, and the bathroom walls down there were a plastic, I don't know what they call it, shell kind of thing. They have to do something about that. Installing electrical plates. There's posts that had carpeting on that are going to need to be painted. The electrical, I think, is done now.
Are they using, I saw a sign when I came in, are they using the basement already?
Yes.
Okay. You made a comment about the bathroom. Is the bathroom down there functional though?
The bathroom that I'm speaking of is in the staff break room.
Oh, the staff break room bathroom, okay.
So that'll need some work. Trim, I said already. There's some wallpaper solution we got to come up with in the front of the library. where there's missing wallpaper. I did send a second shelving quote, and I don't know from the insurance company yet if they're going to approve that shelving, but if we get that shelving, we will have mobile shelving for all the youth department. And then,
Have we moved the youth department?
not yet.
Okay, and that is being moved upstairs also?
That
Or is
is
going to the front where the kids were?
the plan is to move the youth department upstairs in the long run. We are, there's a number of steps along the way that we've got to figure out what we're going to do with computers that are up there is one of the big concerns. And
Okay.
then also creating a boundary between the youth department and the young adult area. The other thing on that plan, and I just put it out there to find out a budget price, is I asked JL to design some study spaces in the downstairs area. So there are cubicles that are not completely to the ceiling, so we don't have to worry about HVAC lighting or the fire suppression system. So they're coming back with a plan for 3 cubicles along the space behind the circulation workroom, which now has some large print. We'd have to move that large print materials, and then 2 empty shelves, and then 1 more over by the young adult area. So that'd be 4 study areas or group meeting areas that would be added downstairs. We are seeing a lot of use of our study rooms, so it's, I don't know if this time of the year is the time that we see the most use, but it's been growing and more demands out there, so there's a lot of people that are waiting to use study rooms. So this will help us either way, whether or not we move the youth and the adults around or not, having a good idea of what this is going to cost. I think I probably will get a second quote on that, partitions, though. And then the other benefit of it is, if we're done with it, we can move it, patch up the wall, and we're back to where we were. So that's
If you
instead
don't
of,
care for it, you mean?
yeah, if we change things
If
up.
we find it's not used.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that the partition walls are probably a good resource for designating the space upstairs as well. So that'll be another step. in
And
the
would we
process.
partition between the youth and the children?
The children's in the YA, yeah, we'd want to make sure that there was some kind of barrier between the two that designated one area as YA and the other.
Because that's
area.
why we talked about it down here, because
Yeah.
the two were close together and we thought
We-
younger children could mosey into books that might
Yeah.
not be age appropriate.
Yeah, so I think the move was good, and that's the one drawback of this plan, but I don't think there's another way to use our space efficiently. So having that barrier somehow would be
And-
needed.
Once we move the children's area, what do we plan on putting over there?
I'd do the nonfiction from upstairs, so all the adult materials and the
Okay,
computers
so
would be
you'll
on
be
the first
moving the
floor.
books and that downstairs, okay. Okay,
I did put money in the CIP for that, a couple of years out. And it was just a number that I thought might work, including the shelving. So if the shelving gets covered through the
insurance?
insurance, then that's a large cost that we wouldn't have to carry.
Okay,
That may, because of the limited storage space that we have, that may expedite having this done sooner than later, because we won't have, I don't want to put brand new shelving downstairs, potentially have another flood issue that would wipe out our brand new shelving again, so. I think that's all I got for my report, pretty much. unless
you
there's
wanna
any
give an
questions.
update on the blinds?
Oh, yes, the blinds, I did sign the agreement to finish off the blinds, so the rest of the empty windows, we had Peter measure not too long ago, and so that is a project that's gonna get done. That'll be coming out of outlay, which is going to just be levied or weighed out by our savings from this year for whatever personnel or whatever we didn't spend money on, so.
So, and that's mostly the north side?
Mostly the north side and the west and north, so, yeah.
But you have the blinds down now in the front, they really look nice. I really
It does class up the place quite a bit.
It really does, yeah, looks
Yeah.
really nice.
And
Okay.
then we will probably, even the ones that are broken, we'll probably leave the old blinds up and just raise them so that they're out of the view, and if we do want wanna pull them down, we can if there's more blocking for the sun, but I don't know that we'll ever need to do that, and we can pull them anytime we want.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Steve on anything? Okay. Library Board President's Report, nothing for this month. We've got, Steve's avail is all set, and we'll be giving that to him in December. I think that's it. Okay, agenda items for consideration. Number A, strategic planning.
Yeah, so I did talk to people while I was at WLA, and I thought I had another entity that was going to give us give us a
Estimate.
proposal, yeah. And they decided not to do that because they had enough work already, and they wouldn't be able to do anything with us in the new year. So I haven't found other entities that will really jive with us in knowing what libraries and do and how libraries operate in Wisconsin. That's a really important part to me. So I'm stuck with Wills again for a lot of this. There are things that we can do to reduce our costs for strategic planning. What we've done in the past, and I wouldn't recommend it, and Brad was also adamant about this, but he's not here to say anything now. We ended up doing it ourselves in the past, and we always came up with a subpar product. I think we need to have somebody that compiles it to make it a complete document. But there are areas within that strategic plan that we can take some things out. I am participating in the data classroom right now, so a lot of the data work I can do as part of that course I'm taking with actually through Wills. So that's about $1,000 worth of savings there. Uh-oh, our TV went out, but they're still here. I don't know.
Oh, there.
It went to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. So there are some things that we can save a couple bucks on. Yeah,
So,
especially now with a transition with the deputy director, it does scare me even more to do it all on my own, because I feel like I've already got a couple of jobs that I'm doing instead of just my own job. So
do you recommend we would go forward with this at this time?
I would, and that's a maximum cost, so it will come in less than that.
That was
So it's
20,000.
20,000. Yeah.
494, right?
20,494?
Yeah,
Yeah, is that right, Steve?
I think we've already, I negotiated with them down a little bit from that point already, so it's, but yeah, but it's gonna be less than that, I can guarantee that.
And that would be coming out of the strategic plan?
Yep, that'll
Okay.
come out of strategic plan.
So then that, if we took 20,000 out of there, that would leave you 80,000 to do implementation.
Yeah,
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I know we had said look at a couple of the strategic plans that Will had done.
yep, and we also did get feedback from, Barb's not here to celebrate this, but I did get feedback from Reedy, and the system strategic plan was a little bit less money, but it's a system strategic plan, and systems don't do nearly as much as what a public library does.
And I guess Barb, when I talked to her, she was impressed. She was comfortable with it.
Yeah,
The big problem is there's not a lot of companies that do that for the library. Whereas if you go out and get bids, if there were multiple companies, but this is one of those where it's kind of how can I?
it's a niche.
It's a niche, yeah.
And the other thing is, I think once we have this done with Wills, we will be able to steer ourselves in the future much better based on that document. But we have to have a starting point, and we've been floundering for the last, I don't know how many years that we've been doing strategic plans. trying to do it on our own. And we can try again, but like I said, I think that's a lot for us to do on our own. And I don't think that there's that many people out there that understand a lot of these consultants in the library world I know. And there's very few of them that I would want to give the project to, that I would think would do an excellent job. The ones that I have talked to that I think would do an excellent job, like what happened at WLA is they're busy. So because they're good at what they do, they get booked up pretty quick. So
Wills manages something for the state of Wisconsin, don't they?
yep, Wills manages the digital library
Digital
collection.
libraries, okay.
They work with schools as well.
Jim, have you had any experience with them?
Not with this group specifically. I think my feedback is I don't mind the group doing it. I think, Steve, you provided some examples of what they do. I think then it's the board's expectation, or at least this is my opinion, our expectation should be is this is a big part of our board meeting every 3 or 6 months where we are receiving feedback on the implementation of it. I always worry when you do something like this, you pay the money, you get a document, you don't follow through. And so I think that's something we would need to commit to, but I think seeing what they provide, I feel much better about it versus just hearing about it. But I think that we have to commit as a board to that, and I would, Steve, you have to help us through that process on our board agendas to make sure we're meeting that as we go forward.
Yeah. I think that should definitely be a part of, well, we can report on it at every meeting. Some meetings are going to have a lot more to say than other meetings.
Yeah, and maybe it's at every third meeting or, twice a year we dig into it or something.
Yeah.
I just think that then we have to own moving forward with that as we invested the money in it. And I think, knowing this board, I think we can all commit to that. I think that's just on us to make sure we do that, so.
And I hope that I can lean on Wills to make sure that they discuss this with our city people, that they are expecting to get the city involved in this process so that we can have better understanding between the city and the library as well. And the outcome should be a better relationship in that. And Wills might be able to do that better than I can as a third party.
So we most likely need to take a vote on this. Do we have a motion to approve going to Wills for a strategic plan?
A motion.
Joseph? Do we have a second?
I second.
There you
Katie?
go.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on a strategic plan from Will? What this will entail, though, is that they probably will be having the board get involved.
Yep, there
in-
definitely
in
will be
this.
some
So we would-
board representation, if not the whole board. I would hope that they will expect feedback from the entire board at the very least.
Any other questions or anything?
Steve, can you remind us of the timeline of we approve this, let's say we approve this tonight, how long till this is wrapped up and we have that document that sets course for the next 2 to 4 years?
I think they said 6 months was their from the start of when they start the document or start the process to when they have the document. And then we would be starting, I have to check with them. Last time I checked, they were looking at February, March, I believe,
To start?
to start.
So then
Okay.
we'd have this around August and probably start our planning in the fall, the fourth quarter of next year.
Yeah,
With implementation maybe starting in 2027.
probably.
Any other questions? If not, we have a motion and a second to approve going to Wills for a strategic plan. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Print costs.
Oh yeah, I just sent a little report out to everybody, and this is something that happened at WLA again. It was we just got talking, somebody asked the question, what do you charge for printing, and went around the horn, and pretty much everybody is doing 10 and 25 cents. We're the one library that has 25 and 50. I don't,
And we know why that occurred, I'm sure, because several of us have been on the board, and that went into place because we were having very, very low funding from the city.
yeah.
But Steve has been able to address some of the funding issues.
Our relationship is getting better, so even with, when I said the strategic planning, they can, hopefully that's going to build that relationship and understanding, but our relationship's getting better, I think we're doing all right. We don't bring in a whole lot for
We
prints and
might
copies.
if we lower the price.
That's right, the market clearing price might be met if we
Yes.
hit that, you know.
Does anyone have any input into that or any issues or concerns?
So my recommendation would be to go to 10 and 25.
And 10 is for,
Black and white?
and
25
25
for
for
color.
color? Okay. Will you be able to just give us like a before and after month? Because I'd be curious
Yeah.
to see if it's increased.
We can, I think we'll probably compare it to a previous year, say month kind of thing,
Okay.
and see what
Okay.
the average is, or.
That would be good. I'd like to ask, do we need a motion on this? Or is this, yeah, we made a motion when we increased it, so we
Probably
probably
a good idea.
should. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve lowering the print costs.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Karen.
Second.
Brett, second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Before we go on to the library close dates, was there any, I forgot to ask you when you were doing your report, any other updates on WLA?
Oh, well, there was a lot of things, and I should probably have the, I do have some reports from the people who attended. There was, it was a good conference. Honestly, it was one of the best conferences we've had. Good speakers all the way around.
What's the one big takeaway you had?
Well, the one big takeaway is when we got together after hearing about how AI is doing all these things, we decided, well, we really don't need to worry about this because we do something different than AI. And I don't know that this is a real threat.
You don't make things up. You
This
go
is
to
not
the
a
books
threat.
and do.
It's really not a threat to librarians at this point.
Okay.
So that was one of the big takeaways, and things are looking up for libraries across the state. So I think we're doing really well. You know, the tide shifts all over the place from year to year, but we got a lot of good people coming up in the systems and wonderful things happening. And
Now we have to work on getting the legislature to put in place something for ebooks.
yeah, this is a challenge. I will talk. Oh, since I'm talking anyway, and there is some efforts towards funding ebooks in counties, and the system is working on that or has done that with Ozaki and Sheboygan County, but we are different, so we're going to be taking a different path than they did. We might talk to our county at some point, but our county agreement is pretty solid, and we don't want to mess things up.
No, I don't think, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of the state, because we get funding based on circulation, and that's
Yeah.
circulation that's not counted.
It's very challenging to see that percentage increase for digital, but then that doesn't really affect our physical circulation count, so we're still okay as far as the funding formula goes. But as fewer people, as we see a decline in physical circulation, that does impact us. So we need to figure that out and how that's going to.
It is surprising though how many people, and I prefer books,
Yeah.
they really do. They want to hold that physical object in their hand, which is good for us.
We are doing our part with, we got one donation of $10,000 for digital resources. And we have set up our account, and Darcy is purchasing digital resources now for our patrons. So that makes the lending pool greater and our people get their material faster.
Good.
So that's really good.
Good. Okay, sorry to deviate, but
That's all right.
now we will move on to number C, library close dates and board meeting schedule.
Yep, the library close dates and the board meeting is pretty much carbon copy of what we did in the past.
The only difference that I can see is because of the way several of the holidays fall,
Yeah,
you're looking for us to make a determination on
couple Saturdays.
a
right?
couple Saturdays, which would be Christmas and the New Year next year. You've got Christmas on, Christmas Eve is a Thursday, Christmas Day Friday, and then the open issue is, should we open the library? So I'm asking the board, I have mixed on both, I probably could argue both sides. So what does the board think?
What do we do with this? Are we following the city's policy closing on those Saturdays?
Well, the city
Doesn't
typically
work on
doesn't work on Saturdays, you know, other than the police department, fire department, who get different pay structures for those days.
Yeah.
Or if they're called out for service with the streets,
Yeah. I have no problem closing on those Saturdays. It makes for a nice long weekend for all the staff.
Yeah, I agree.
And my thinking was very similar. This comes around once every so many years. It's not like it's all the time. The only thing that I had when I was thinking of the negatives is if people had books to return, but we do have a drop off
yeah.
and books to pick up, but odds are with it, I would think our attendance of people on those days would be very minimal. So,
Especially if you advertise that you're gonna be closed ahead of time,
mhm,
you know, gives you some time to plan.
But also,
mhm.
oh, yeah, great. Yeah, I would say that's a good gesture to the staff and family, meet the staff too, meet with their families too. It's kind of a good, you know, I won't say gesture, but a good gesture. You know, if they got a long weekend, they can enjoy it amongst all the stuff that's going on.
I think they'll appreciate it,
Yeah, this is exactly.
yeah.
Say no more.
And they can go shopping on the 26th, the day after Christmas, for all the sales.
That's right.
All the return.
Used to have such sales on the 24th.
Okay, has everybody kind of looked at the schedule? Last year we closed on the Saturday before Memorial Day to give the staff. Good Friday is a floater for us, is that
Yeah, we're
correct?
usually open on Good Friday.
Mhm.
And then we did this closing the day after Thanksgiving
That was last year too.
last year and the year before.
We're doing it this year too.
Yeah, I don't know if the city opens the day after Thanksgiving or, I don't think.
I don't think so personally. I think that was from the union standpoint.
And we usually are open the Saturday of Thanksgiving, so that's, should be on there as,
So you're planning on being open that Saturday, okay? Okay,
Next year's schedule is out and
oh,
they're closed the Thursday, Friday for
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Steve regarding the library board meetings or the closing dates? And we won't have any closing for floods or anything this year, God willing. God willing? Okay, if there is no further questions, we have the library close dates. We need a motion to approve the dates.
I'll motion.
Joseph,
Second.
Brett seconds. We have a motion and a second for the dates that Steve had published. Any further questions? If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor of the closing dates, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Our next regular meeting is December 16th. Steve and I will look and see what may be on the agenda. And, because sometimes we've been not having it, but in the event would have bad weather coming up in January, because the following January, last January, we had really bad weather. We had that ice storm and stuff like that. So I think we may keep it on the agenda, but it might be short, like this one. Assigned tasks. Katie?
There's just one that I see
Karen?
for Steve. Steve's gonna send out to the board to review the natural disaster and emergency closing.
Yep.
Thank you, yes, okay. All right.
Standard.
If nothing else, meeting adjourned.